Well, welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Micky.
What's up, man? How are you?
Micky, it's hot as shit out.
That's an understatement.
It's like 98 degrees, and I didn't have my work shirt on me, so I had to wear my work jacket. So I was in this gym with no AC, just sweating constantly, and everyone's like, "Are you hot?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, you see how red my face is getting? No.
No, I'm not hot. I'm feeling pretty good. Don't worry about me. Thanks.
Oh, it's like a freezer in here.
Yeah. You got a blanket? I need a blanket.
Well, Micky, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? And if you want, what do you do professionally?
I'm actually a teacher. I teach fourth grade in the school district of Philadelphia.
Okay, so when we say teaching, what are you exactly teaching? Are you just teaching every single subject, or
All subjects. Teach them all.
is
Yeah,
it
man.
fun?
Oh, I love it. I've been doing it. This will be my 14th year I'm going into now.
And so then it goes a little bit different from with the sketch stuff. So what exactly, like, I'm guessing you pulled that from the teaching? You like kind of like, being more interactive with a grade that young kind of, it's much more easier to kind of capture their attention if you make it more fun and interesting, which you could do with sketch art.
So, well, Dad's cartoons actually started from. I've been drawing my whole life. I self-taught myself. My mom was an artist, and when I would always growing up, I was always drawing, just doodling, doing nonsense while in high school and all that. And then I had my two sons. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, both boys. And when my oldest was younger, when he was, I think I'd probably say baby toddler, I wanted to do a mural, like a Dr. Seuss mural on his wall. So I drew it all out, and I'm like, oh, that was fun. I haven't done it in a while. That was fun. Let me sit down and try to put, pen to paper again. So from that point on, I started off, God, how long is it? What's 2020? Probably 2011, 2012 is when I started Dad's Cartoons. And I started off doing pigs, drawing pigs dressed as superheroes.
I was about to say Peppa the Pig.
No, 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 no. No, we were still before that. They were still young enough. They didn't watch TV, thank God. But they weren't jumping in muddy puddles yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it started off me doing these pigs and doing animals dressed as superheroes. And I did a small Comic-Con, like a little mini Comic-Con in a comic book store, my first show ever. Made $0, but I had met a couple people. And the one guy I had met actually connected me with another con, and that was my actual first con. Made some money, and then from there it just spiraled out of control.
So what do you typically prefer to draw now?
I mean, I do it all. I can draw pen and paper or digital. Like I do mashups now. So I'll take any pop culture, um, any excuse me, any kind of pop culture character and put it in a superhero outfit, and stuff like that. So like, let's see what I got with me here. So right there is Hey from Moana as Batman.
That is freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
How
So I
long
mean
did it take you to draw something like that?
to sketch it out. I mean the original. So what I'll do is I'll sketch it out on pen and paper. Hold on. I'm actually in my studio right now. So what's the latest thing I drew? So here is my baby Yoda.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. See, like I can try, like I like the sketching part of something like that, but then once it comes into the coloring part is where I go batshit nuts. Because like I remember when I was a little kid and I would always try and color and I would just like, I want it done as fast as possible. So I'm sitting there like scribbling as fast as I can to get every single part of it. And I would always get a little bit out of the line. And I remember somebody in my family going, why don't you do this? You take the crayon and you draw the outer border and then you just color inside. And like, I was like, yeah, but that's not how the game's supposed to be played. And it's weird because I'll go to a child care center and I'll see the kids that have developed that, like that have been taught that. Like I'll see it in some
Yeah.
of the things. I'm like, they obviously just colored the outside and colored it in. But I'm more on the lines of like a little kid's like, I drew this and I just look at him like, Yoda's not blue. Yoda's green. And he's like, Yoda can be whatever I want to be. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. It's different, man. I mean, I did that. I was on Facebook Live with my dad's cartoon site, and I sat and drew that with some people. That took, I want to say like a half hour, dude, to draw that out. And then, so I would take that. I'm not going to color that one in, but I would take that. I'd ink it, with black marker and black pen, and then color it in. And then I'd frame that up, sell it at a con. And then I'd take the original image, put it on my computer, and redo all of it.
Have you ever thought about mashing up with like a comic book artist?
What do you mean?
Like trying to design your own comic?
So that's the thing. Like this being a side gig and all, that's cartoons. I'm either a weekend warrior or during the summer is when I can really, I really have time to sit down and do stuff. Um, I'm not good with frame by frame, having sequential art. I'm just a character, like I said, mash up, two characters at once, and it's kind of funny because I do what I want to do,
Yeah.
and I enjoy it that way. When it comes down to having to put confines around what I want to draw, it turns into feeling like a job, and I'm not a fan of that because I already got a professional one, you know what I mean, all for 10 months of the year.
Does it get hard when you're trying to do a commission piece, like just trying to craft one out? I mean, like, what's a commission that somebody has asked from you? Like, because I mean, your art's something I would want on a poster, like in my room or something. I would like Yoda taking a bong rip or something. That'd be pretty sweet.
So when people ask for commissions, they get the 9x12, that size of Yoda. It's a 9x12 piece. And it's, full color, full body. So it's whatever they want to do. And I mean, if they're coming to me, they know what I do. They know, they know my style. They know that I do mashups. So if they come to me and they're like, oh, I got an idea. And I'm like, all right, well, give me a character. And like, oh, I want this character. I want Steven Universe. Perfect. Well, what superheroes? What's your favorite superhero? Oh, I like Captain America. Perfect. I got you. So I would draw Captain America. I don't even know if I have. That's actually one of my pieces. I would draw Captain America. I mean Steven Universe out first. Yeah, no, not with me.
It's all
But
right.
I
It's
draw
okay.
him. No, you're fine. I draw him out first, just full body in my style, and then I draw Captain America's whole uniform and everything over top of it.
Do you ever come across like a kid in your class that might have a little bit of a skill? Like we all know those kids that are gifted with drawing or something that are kind of doodling in the corner. And have you ever found one just like in your 14 years of teaching you came across, be like this kid needs to get into an art class?
Plenty. So what I do, so I wrap this into my classroom. So like on Fridays, I would do like fun Fridays, and I'd sit down and draw with the kids. Like they'd have to earn for good behavior and all, but I'd sit down and draw with them. I've used my prints. I have stickers. I have enamel pins. I have everything you can think of, and I give all that stuff out as prizes. I use all that um,
Rewards.
She's like, yeah, I can't even think of the word. My mind ain't working today, dude. But yeah, so so I wrap it in with my classroom. My kids love it. But
I would be thinking more of like for me, I would go in at like an ego angle. I would be like, all right, who wants to get taught a lesson here? And then I'd sit down and be like, oh, you want to have a drawing contest? Next thing you know, this kid's like, I drew a car. You're like, that's great. You know what I drew? Batman inside of a black hole fighting Superman. And both the characters are members of the Teen Titans. That's a mind freak for your own. And your kid's just like, but I have race car. And you're like, that's
yeah, no,
eh.
that's not gonna happen because I'm not the art teacher. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna sit down and waste instructional time for math or literacy. Whereas like a fun Friday, quick 45 minutes at the end of the week, I can reward them for good behavior and stuff like that and sit and draw with them and help them out. But you always find there's a lot of kids out there with a lot of different talents.
Well, you're
And it's
pulling
awesome to see.
literally your own art creations, like with doing superheroes and stuff. Why specifically superheroes? I think that stems from like when you're a kid, you come across
Oh,
something that yeah.
I'm still a huge nerd. I was a huge nerd growing up. I'm a huge nerd now. I mean, I wish I had time to sit down and read a comic book. Like I said, I got 2 kids and a full-time career. Um, but growing up, I had a ton of comic books and collected them and read them. I still collect toys. I have a huge toy collection. I mean, you can see there's a couple right there on top of there, but that's nothing compared to the amount of wall space that's covered with artwork. And my desk right here, I don't even know if I can do this. And you can see just my desk where I draw, all the toys that are sitting there, and that's just on my desk. So I'm a huge nerd, so it stems from, doing superheroes and villains and stuff like that. But it pretty much comes down to if I can find characteristics to mash up together, they'll work.
Do you find that
Um,
it's like the giant leaps are the ones that are the most like kind of sought after? Like if you did like a Rick and Morty style thing, but you did them in like maybe an old school like generation cartoon, like mixing old with new seems like that's the real popular stuff. Because I feel like with this pop kind of culture art, it's all nostalgia, especially for me. Like when I'm
yeah,
looking at stuff, I like seeing stuff that I can. Oh shit, I remember that when I was a kid when cartoons were actually good. Like
yeah.
I would love to see, like somebody dressed up as Johnny Bravo or something. I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's when.
So I'm big on that. So I actually have a Johnny Bravo dressed as Shazam, or
Oh, what?
I have Grim from the Adventures of Bill and
Billy and
Mindy.
Mandy.
I have Grim dressed as Skeletor.
Nice.
Dude, I have Zim and Gur dressed up as Flash and Green Arrow.
Nobody
Um,
knows that show. Nobody
yeah, dude.
knows Invader Zim. It came on at 1 o'clock in the morning after. I remember this episode specifically. Okay, so on Adult Swim, when I was supposed to be sleeping as a little kid because I had school the next day, I was really awake watching TV. And I remember seeing, the little black and white lettering that would come across the screen telling you something stupid out of nowhere. Then after Aqua Teen Hunger Force or something, there was this 5 or maybe 50-second clip of a guy, and it's like a big overweight guy, and it just goes, "What are you gonna do? I sit on you, right on your head." And he was just sitting on random people's heads, and I'm like, what the fuck? But then Invader Zim came on afterwards, and there was a specific episode, and every time I bring up this cartoon, barely anybody knows what it is. When Gurr, like there's a tree that came out of the ground and Gurr's tied to it like a little around his collar or whatever, and he runs around the tree and it yanks him, and then he stops and he stands up and there's like a second pause. Then he starts running the complete opposite way and it yanks him again. I'm like, oh my god, like that's when cartoons were like they were simple but they were fun. I mean, if you
Yeah.
notice the shift in cartoons, for instance, my dad used to sit and watch cartoons with me 24/7, and as I'm older and I look back at a lot of the cartoons I used to watch, I'm like, oh, there's adult jokes in here that I didn't even hit. And it's like
Yep.
when you look at the ones now, there's no adult jokes. They're all just really stupid fart, a simple slip and fall on a banana peel type stuff, and I'm like, this is where we lost it.
See, now my kids and I sit and watch. I love Teen Titans Go. I know I'm on the wrong side of the train tracks on that thought process, but I love Teen Titans Go. Like we watch it in our household, and the adult humor in that, and not even the adult humor, but the nostalgic adult humor that's in it, where you get it if you were an '80s kid. Like I'm 38 years old, so I get it from the '80s and all that stuff. Um, I love it. I love Teen Titans Go. Dude, I enjoyed Green Lantern. I enjoyed it for
I
what it
fucking love
was.
Green Lantern. Thank you. I thought that movie was
I
amazing,
I
even
enjoyed
though,
the movie. I love Ryan Reynolds. I've loved Ryan Reynolds since he was
yeah,
with two guys, a girl, and a pizza shop.
yeah.
Like that. So I liked it for what it was, and so people tend to like start conversations with me, and then I say, oh yeah, I like Green Lantern, and they'll walk away, and I'm like, see ya. Like,
No,
you know what I mean? Like
I
it.
love you so much more right now because I Green Lantern is my favorite movie of all time. And I said what the problem was is that it was rushed. And what I mean
Yeah.
when it was rushed is it should have been two completely different movies. They tried to cram it all into one. But I am a fan of it only because of the fact is that's Green Lantern is one of my favorite superheroes, and that's the only movie for Green Lantern. So I will stick by it and I will fight the opinion. I mean, it's got a lot of good scenes in it. You get to see an actual love relationship between Ryan Reynolds and his wife, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I always say that they have the Spider-Man isms. So when they try to jam too many people into one movie, I always talk about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, because that's how I felt like they did with those movies. They just try to jam it all in that final one with Sandman and Venom, and I'm like, why? Why would you do that? So
Everyone
I always,
shits on the third one for that. They're
yep,
like, there are too many villains in this one.
yep. You can tell when something's rushed. And like I said, I'll enjoy movies for what they are. I'm not out here to find something wrong. There's too many people that want to find negativity. I'll enjoy it for what it is. I think there was two movies in my lifetime I've walked out on, and one of them was one of Adam Sandler's very first movies, um, Going Overboard, I think it's called, and nobody knows about it. No one. So I used to be a huge DVD guy. Like I would have the racks of DVDs all along my wall and all that. And I was going through Best Buy one day for like $5. I'm like, Adam Sandler. I love Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I put this thing on, dude. I turned it off and threw the DVD out. Like it was atrocious.
Where do you stand on Don't Mess with the Zohan? Because that movie, if you look at it now, it could not be played today.
Not a fan. I wasn't a fan when it came out. I was not. I mean, I sat through it. I watched the entire thing. It wasn't as bad as Going Overboard,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not a fan of you know. But then again, I sat and watched what did I watch? The Do Over, and then I forget his other movie that came out on Netflix. Was fantastic.
The
You
mystery
know,
one with Jennifer Aniston?
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. I love that movie.
That was a good
And
one.
the do over was great, you know. But he's not only doing his own stuff, he's doing all the other movies. So all his boys are coming out. I mean, did you see The Wrong Missy?
Yeah, that was a good movie
Oh,
too.
fantastic. And but he's got his hands in that, producing it, and you know, so he's not only like off, like some people are like, oh, he's off the grid, he's not really doing much, or he's only doing Netflix. I'm like, no, he's still making all these movies and got his hands in with all of his buddies. You know, I still go back to his first Happy Madison, which was Grandma's Boy,
Yeah.
and that is by far like a cult movie for me. That is, you cannot go wrong with
Okay.
Grandma's Boy.
You mentioned something yesterday that you were doing, bowling. Now, there's a
Yes.
cult movie that is my all-time favorite that is linked to bowling, and the whole reason I got addicted to bowling, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, of course.
I literally, when I watched that movie, I spent, I think, the next 3 months just bowling every single day for like 6 hours a day. I
Hmm.
mean, to the point where I was close to getting a perfect game until my grandma whooped my ass. She was like, "You want to bet?" I was like, "Look, I've been playing so much, like I'm not going to go against you." She's like, "Do you want to bet me and who will win in this bowling game?" I said, "I'm literally one strike away from a perfect game. Yeah, let's do it." So we tossed $20 on the table. Next thing I know, I'm getting my ass whooped. I mean, straight out. She's got the curve in it and everything. She's got her, like, I mean, just skills out. I don't even know how to explain it. You're hearing turkey, turkey, turkey. Everyone around sitting there, like, watching us play. And my dad just walks up and goes, "Oh, yeah, by the way, your grandma was a professional bowler at one point." I was like, "What do you mean professional?" She
Yo.
goes, "She didn't hit the big times in, like, the, on the TV and everything, but she literally, she's won trophies for this." And she's literally one strike away, I swear to you, from a perfect game. And she just goes, huh. She goes, "But this is my $20." But she ended up giving it back to me later. But everyone's like, "We got to get your name on the wall." She's like, "I'm good," and walked out. I was like, okay, I got more respect for my grandma right now.
Yeah, my dad always told me growing up, you only bet on a sure thing. You know, he would always try to teach me lessons about betting when I was growing up, and I will always remember. He actually passed away like 3 years ago. When UFC was big, when it first came out, and it was pay per view, and it was a big deal. Him and I would sit and watch it all the time. We watch boxing, we watch all sports. I didn't know it. I was going out. I went out, and I didn't know that there was a fight on. So the next night, he had recorded it. So the next night, I came home, and he goes, "You want to sit down and watch UFC?" I'm like, "Sure." We sat there and watched it. Now this is his second time watching it. He knows the results of all the fights, unbeknownst to me. So it gets to the card match, and I'm like, and he goes, "Want to put some money on this?" And I'm like, 100%. I'm like, he's gonna win. All right, let's go. $50. Put $50 on it, dude. He took my money, and I sat there and I looked at him. I'm like, when was this on? I'm like, why is the VCR on? And he goes, it played last night. I'm like, are you for real? You just played me? And he goes, always bet on a sure thing. And I'm like,
Holy crap.
yo, dude. So from that point on, I'm not even kidding you, dude. Like, you want to talk about a life lesson? I don't bet. I don't gamble. Like, it has to be something that I've done my research on. Like, my wife always gets mad at me. Like, I'll always be like, "You want to bet?" Just like your grandmom did. So it's funny to, if I know I'm right, or if I know that I got the right path, I'm going for it.
I think everybody in my family has is really really talented at something that's not like major, but it's like a minor type thing. Like my one grandmom is the ex bowling champion, and then my other grandmom, my dad's mom, is a like a pool champion. She schooled me in pool when I was very little, and I'm fucking good at claw machines. I'm like, why can't I get like a talented thing like football, something that could bring in like millions of dollars?
Dude, I played ice hockey for 12 years, all throughout grade school and high school.
That's a tough fucking
And
sport.
oh, I loved it. Loved every minute of it. My kids want nothing to do with it. Nothing. Nothing to do with it. I was good. I was a good defenseman, but so I also shot pool, and I've got a couple patches and all that stuff. It was a bar league. My son is an old soul, I call him, because he loves bowling and he loves to shoot pool. I'm like, all right, whatever, whatever, I'm not going to force you to go play baseball or soccer or basketball. We gave him all a shot. He wasn't a fan of them. So we'll go bowl and we'll shoot pool, dude. Like, I'll enjoy it. I'll have fun with you. I'll still play. So it's interesting to see where his interests lie.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Here Comes the Boom?
Yes, loved Here Comes the Boom.
Who is the big giant bald guy that's in that one that's a UFC fighter?
Oh, it's oh God, I'm gonna draw a blank.
You know who I'm talking about though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. His citizenship. Well, Kevin James helped him get his
Yeah.
citizenship. It's
Okay.
Kurt dude, I'm gonna draw a complete
It's
blank. It's
good.
gonna come back. You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna come back
Yeah.
tonight after I get done dinner. I'm like, oh my God, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's always happens. But I heard a story about that guy. He bet somebody in a game of pool because he actually likes to play like professional pool. Bring your own cue and bring your own pool stick and everything. And he bet somebody that they couldn't put a cue ball in their mouth. Here's the trick: you can get the cue ball in your mouth. The bad part is you can't get it out. So once he got it in there, his mouth couldn't get the thing open, so they had to break the dude's teeth to get the cue ball out. And I was like, there goes betting. Imagine that. Like, you want to bet on a sure thing. I bet you cannot put this cue ball in your mouth. Someone goes in, give me my $50. Okay, hand him the $50. I can't get it out. Yeah, now we get to break your teeth. So I basically paid you $50 to break your teeth.
Unbelievable, dude. The stuff you hear, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
If I was going to ask you to bet on, let's say, a sure thing here, where do you think cartoons are going to go in the future? Do you think that it's going to come back to this flashback retro thing? I mean, we're seeing all these old movies get kind of done in a way. Do you think that it's going to era back to maybe bringing Johnny Bravo back? I mean, I know that show kind of pushes the lines, but it really doesn't. I think just people look at this and like, oh, he's a womanizer and he's all these things. It's like, but it shows you that he doesn't get the girl. It shows you that acting like a muscle-bound jerk is going to get you slapped in the face, and then she always goes with the chick or goes with the nerd dude.
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna go. I mean, look at the new Thundercats Roar. I mean, have you sat down and actually watched it?
There's a new Thundercats.
Yeah. So
I'm out the
it's
game. I'm out the game.
dude. It's again. It got it. You know what the funny part is? It got so much hate that Teen Titans wrote an episode about the amount of hate that Thundercats was getting, and they listened to the hate and they hated Thundercats Roar. And dude, it was this whole big crossover episode about the hatred towards the new show. So they're kind of drawn in the manner of, I mean, kind of like Teen Titans, but they're not. They're more cartoony, and the humor is more slapstick. It's Lionel isn't the brightest bulb on the circuit, and it's kind of funny, and I enjoyed it for what it was.
Well, it's a twist on the old version of it, but the factor is the old version was a little bit more serious. If you saw an old episode of Teen Titans, that's old school
Oh yeah,
Japanese artistry basically, and the
yeah,
shows had a lot more deep meaning. Like I always talk about a show that can make you feel. Like that show when they showed Cyborg when he had the rings on his hands and he it brought him back to show him his human form or whatever without all the robotic parts after his accident. You got to see him look at his hands and you wanted to cry. But then I see it now and it's they're them trying to find the TV remote and then someone orders a pizza. I'm like, there was hints of this in the original, but it was still serious. It had a story to it. It just feels rushed.
It is not serious one bit, and the people that go into it thinking it's serious are gonna like it. It's a comedy. It is a straight comedy with all the nerdisms tied into it, with some adult humor jabbed in there here and there, and nostalgic stuff. But I mean, they make fun of themselves about not being the old Teen Titans. They came out with a series. It was called Night Begins to Shine. So it was a 4-part series, which ended up being a whole hour, and it was fantastic. They were drawn like they were back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They were that type of style drawn, and they were in this 80s type nostalgic area, and it's another world. It was a great series. Loved every minute of it. Loved Night Begins to Shine, and they just came out with a second Night Begins to Shine, and it was as good. Wasn't better, but it was as good as the first one. But again, it was fun. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? It's something to do with my kids and sit and watch with my kids.
See, I like it shows that like based on like the stuff I had when I was a kid, based on to where it's at now. And I would mean Courage the Cowardly Dog. That show taught life lessons. If you were watching Mr. Meaty, I feel like you're probably scarred a little bit. I don't know if you've ever seen that one before,
No.
dude. They have an episode about a tapeworm that will fuck you up for days, man.
Well, I'm trying to think. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Oh my God. I
Yeah,
got
oh my
16
God.
years. I got 16 years on you, bro.
I still watch the Jetsons. I mean, my dad was like, "Hey, let's sit down and watch cartoons together." So a few hours a night or whatever, the nights, because my dad was a radio person by day, then a DJ at night, so he'd only be home for a couple hours. And he's like, "You want to watch cartoons? You want to watch Kiss? You want to watch?" I saw Kiss meets the Phantom at the park. You want to talk about a movie that changes your life? That was a good ass movie, man. That made me think of that band in a whole different way.
I'm sure, dude. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm an '80s kid, early '90s kid, so that's all the stuff I grew up on. But like, so dinosaurs. Did you ever see? You ever sit down and actually watch dinosaurs?
Okay, you have to refresh my mind on dinosaurs.
So they're like they're in like full dinosaur costumes. It's not cartoony. It's not real life, but it's people in that. And there's a little baby dinosaur. I forget his name. I'm drawing a blank. But he always hits the dad and says, "Not the mama."
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. They look like alligators a little bit.
So they're coming back out. They're putting that whole series on Netflix. And I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch it. And she
Yeah.
goes, "Why?" And I'm like, because I don't know if it was as good as I remember it.
Yes.
So I don't want to ruin that memory and watch it and then be pissed because now I don't remember dinosaurs being good. I remember it being garbage. Like I was sitting down and trying to watch it now and just sitting there staring at the TV screen. So I'm kind of up in the air of watching. I'll still go back. Like we can talk about Willow.
The
I'm
Wiggles?
trying. No, man, Willow. You never saw Willow?
No.
You've never seen Willow?
No.
Do you watch Goldbergs?
I don't know. I don't watch that either.
Oh, dude, what area are you from?
I'm in Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay, so yeah, you won't appreciate Goldbergs. Well, I mean, you would. It's all nostalgic '80s and '90s, well, '80s stuff. But Goldbergs was written. It's a town outside of Philly. It's about it's all about the Flyers, the
I
Phillies.
know. Look, the only show I know about Philly is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, my boy.
Oh my God! Not even It's Always Sunny.
Dude, honestly, I like the show only for Frank. That is it.
Really?
When I saw my first episode I saw was when Frank hung himself by the ceiling fan, and they're like, "Well, Frank hung himself." And they start drinking a beer. Then he falls off the ceiling and he starts choking. They're like, "See, Frank, your neck's too fat. You can't kill yourself."
But yeah, I mean, it's there's so many movies back in the '80s and '90s that, like there's a movie Labyrinth. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Labyrinth with David Bowie.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when I was a kid. So when I sat down and tried to watch it as an adult, I really didn't like it. So you kind of remember that stuff that you watched when you were a kid, and you're trying to think of, well, let me try to watch it as an adult. And you're like,
I get too afraid, dude. It's a culture shock for me. Like I've rewatched the Teen Titans a little bit. It's not as good as I remember. It seems like, I mean, I still love it, but it's the fact of like, I'm just really getting a nostalgia feel from it. And Dragon Ball Z too, like that was a show that just sort of stopped. Like I remember being shirtless, sitting in the kitchen, eating a bagel, in like my, Pampers or whatever, when I was so little, just in the middle of the kitchen, like, look at this kid. Hey, shirtless, eating a bagel or something. I'm watching Dragon Ball Z. Like I remember like the very first few episodes. And then I watch it now and I'm like, so how many times has he died now? Well, this is about his 2,000th time. It's like, okay, well, what's happened? Who's this guy? Who's this purple cat thing? It's like, this is Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, there was fucking GT, there was X, Y, M. It's like it starts to turn into the LGBT community where we're sitting here naming off all the different versions of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I never got into Dragon Ball Z. Never sat down and watched. I actually don't even think I ever sat down and watched an episode. So I don't.
More of a Total Drama Island fan?
No, man, I just never. Like I said, once 6th or 7th grade hit, I was playing ice hockey. I was playing roller. I was playing roller in 4th and 5th, and then once 6th grade hit, I was ice hockey. So we were doing 4:30 in the morning practices. We had games. There wasn't a chance to sit down and have a bowl of cereal on a Saturday morning and watch cartoons. So the only thing I have for cartoons is when I was younger, the old, Looney Tunes and all that stuff, or the actual wholesome TV shows of Family Matters and Full House and Saved by the Bell and all that, at nighttime when you would get home from school after you got done your homework. So
Did you like Full House?
loved Full House. Loved it. I've watched it as an adult too and still can sit down and watch it.
What about Fuller House?
I never tried it.
Yeah. Don't
There's
do
so
that.
there's so many more cool things on Netflix for me to sit down and waste my time on.
Well, okay, so if you had to pick a cartoon that you enjoy watching now, a newer version, which one would it be?
Right now?
Yes.
Oh, so it's a newer version, but not an old cartoon.
Not an old cartoon, something your kids might love that you like to watch with your kids.
Oh, it's Teen Titans Go.
Is it really?
Yeah, 100%.
Look deep in your heart right now. Don't even answer me that quickly.
Teen
Give it a
Titans
couple
Go.
seconds. Really,
I mean, there could even be a Steven America, but Teen Titans Go we watch more Teen Titans Go than Steven America.
Do you think
I keep saying Steven America because that's the
Steven
pin I
Universe.
made. Steven Universe. Steven America is the mashup.
I caught it. But I look at those old school cartoons used to taught life lessons. I would love to see Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy made today, but I'm just afraid they're gonna rush a lot of the stuff out of it because I think the whole point of the thing was supposed to be it was pretty sadistic if you watched it. I mean, Billy got the whole front of his face chopped off and you saw the skeleton, but they used humor to incorporate inside of that. And then Courage the Cowardly Dog. I think the only reason I hate macaroni and cheese is because the one episode where Muriel's a baby and he keeps making her macaroni and cheese and she's like, too much macaroni, too much cheese. And it's 10 minutes of him going back and forth. And you as a person are just slap the shit out of her. Just slap her. I swear to God. And she goes, oh, and then she eats it and she goes, And then she throws it off the table and goes, I don't like macaroni and cheese. And then you just see Courage look at the screen like, no fucking way. This just happened.
Yeah, it's interesting, dude. It is. And I was raised by a retired cop, and my mom, we were all Catholic. So we didn't really have any kind of, we weren't allowed to watch MTV. So we didn't really have any of the gnarly stuff, if you will. I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead, even though I snuck it and watched it. Still snuck and watched MTV and stuff like that. But we didn't have, if we were sitting down watching an episode of it and they caught it, we were done. It was then banned in the house. No, you can't watch it. I got in trouble when I was 14, 15 for listening to Offspring's first album. Offspring is band.
Did you just ask me if I know who Offspring is?
Dude, I mean, I got 16 years on you, bro. I don't know.
Look, my dad worked at multiple radio stations and now owns his own one.
Oh,
I
nice.
was cultured I had a Kiss toothbrush as a kid where you played you brush your teeth, you hear rock and roll all night.
That's awesome.
I remember being a little kid walking by my dad's studio thing and there was all these statues of my dad was a Kiss fanatic, everything Kiss. He bought the original book that was made with the ink with their blood. And I asked him, I was like, what are these, what's this guy with his tongue sticking out? And he goes, you don't know who Kiss is? And I said, no, I'm 4. And he goes, let me show you. And then I entered this realm. I mean, I was going through Offspring CDs, any CD, any of the classics, Megadeth, Metallica, everything. My dad was in a Kiss tribute band. So I grew up thinking my dad was Peter fucking Chris. I mean, I saw him dress up as the Cat and go up on stage, play Ram's Head Live in front of 15,000 people. And fucking, I was looking, I was like, no fucking way. I look at the pictures now. I don't like showing them because I'm a fat kid. But I look at.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with fat kids.
Dude,
hold up.
I was pretty bad.
Nothing wrong with fat kids.
It's a picture with me holding his drumstick, an actual, the ones he throws off into the crowd.
That's awesome.
It's wrapped in confetti, and I'm wearing a Kiss t-shirt, and no one told me we were taking a picture, so my face is like that.
That's
and it's
great, dude. Those are the ones you got to live by, man.
Because, sitting down, like for me, as a nostalgia thing when it comes to cartoons, the reason why I love it so much, I mean, probably much like your own, it's a whole childhood influence thing. I mean, it was there. It was like something you could watch and get a quick laugh out of too. But for me, like much like it is for you now with your own kids, spending time with my dad, the few hours he was home, we'd be watching SpongeBob. I remember the one time we were watching Jimmy Neutron, and the dad's like, "Son, Jimbo, Jim Jam, Jim. Well, one time I sat on a banana, and after that, my life changed forever." And I'm laughing like he sat on a banana. What an idiot. And then my dad's laughing. I'm like, why? And then I realize I watch it now, and I'm like, oh, there was some adult humor in there. Same thing
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, so SpongeBob's another one we would watch. You know, we watch the movies and all that stuff. But I have an issue with SpongeBob. You know, as a teacher and as a parent, you know, it's not good for kids to sit and stare at it too much and watch it too long because of the way that the frames are set up and it moves too quick. So it could cause, you know, there was studies done on it and all that. I'll still sit and watch it with them, but we haven't watched SpongeBob in a while. It's been a long while.
That was a big thing that used to come on to like TV shows and video games. They used to say, if you're prone to seizures, be careful. There's flashing lights. There was a warning. I don't see that anymore. And I see the games have ramped up a lot. Like I was just playing the other day, you know, an old, like a kind of like a newer version of Soul Calibur, but still not really like new. But I mean, shit was flying across the screen so much and everything's in 4K now. So it's like, whoa, like I need to take a break. I'm getting them heart palpitations.
Yeah, yeah. No, I play COD and Apex Legends daily, and they're it's like you said, it's kind of slowed down. It's still somewhat fast paced, but yeah, it's kind of slowed down than remembering what we used to play.
Where do you stand on Viva Pinata?
Not sure if I know what that is.
It's a fucking farming game, and all the animals are pinatas. So you get to beat them with a shovel. And what happens is when they die, candy comes out.
Never heard of it.
Everyone shits on it as much as people shit on the Green Lantern. So I want you to look up this game and see how awesome it is. Because let me tell you something.
Was it a game or is it an app?
It's a game.
Oh God!
It's for Xbox, dude. I'll
And
be
you have
able
to
to.
beat animals?
You don't
That's
have
not right.
to. You can
That's
just.
not right.
You don't have to. You can just do it if you feel like it. Like sometimes they get ill and you don't want to call a doctor because it costs money. So then you just beat it to death. And then
You're going Tiger King over here. You're gonna be Joe Exotic.
I actually started a tiger farm to get my master breeder's license under the tiger. But dude, you get to have like I always just start a farm of like cats, just regular cats or dogs, and then I just sit there and breed a whole bunch of them. So then I just let them walk around and roam. You could build ponds, have penguins, bro. This
Sounds
game
like
is like
farmland, dude.
it's like Minecraft if they incorporated more
No,
time with animals.
my kids would play that then. But do you remember? Again, I don't know. Do you remember Farmville?
Yes, I remember Farmville.
So I mean, dude. I played that for like a hot minute. Even like Clash of Clans, played that for a hot minute. Every once in a while, I'll go back to it when I get sick of an app on my phone. But right now, I'm addicted to what's it called? Random Dice.
Dragon City, play that.
No, dude, I'm addicted to Random Dice. I'm telling you right now, it's either the Family Guy app, or the Random Dice app.
Are you
It's
talking
a
about the
tower.
card? Are you talking about the card throwdown one, or the one where you build your own like what is it, Quahog?
No, the matching one. It's a matching. It's a matching game.
I don't think I've heard of that one yet.
It's fantastic. It's been out forever. I'm on like level 3,000.
I'm a big fan of like the simulation games, and it kind of links back to cartoons here with Simpsons Tapped Out. You get to build your own Springfield, but like everything, you design it how you want to design it. The whole place exploded. You get to collect characters per level you go on. Obviously, you got to spend money on donuts is what the currency is. But I mean, it was cool because I could place like I want the Quickie Mart here. Oh, you get a poo. Like Simpsons is one of my favorite. Like I saw the movie before I saw the show. So I
Oh,
was
okay.
freaking lit when that came on. I saw Green Day, and then they went down like the Titanic. I was like, this is freaking awesome. What is this?
Yeah, yeah. I watched that again. That was another show when we were kids. That was out. Couldn't watch Simpsons. I mean, I still snuck and watch it, but yeah, it was. I mean, like, so now that when I got older, that's so I kind of, if you talk about the nostalgia, my artwork, I go back. I mean, Jabberjaw. I'm going to throw a Jabberjaw here. I know you don't know who Jabberjaw is, but Jabberjaw is an old cartoon back in the, I'd say late 70s, early 80s. He was a shark. So I actually drew Jabberjaw as Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, and then wrote down bottom, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Like that's, but so I go back. I go way back and do all the old stuff. as well. But then again, that goes back to me doing what I want to do. Like, if you want a commission, you're going to be the only owner of that commission. You know, that's the way it's going to be. I'm not going to, you know, but if it's, I want to do it the way I want to do it, you know, we're going to make prints of it so people can have posters for their room.
Mickey, what will it take me to convince you and to do the best investment ever of what you can do with your art instead of making commission poster pieces or things like this? You remember Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah.
Do that. Make trading cards.
So that's the thing, man. It's a difficult, so when was have you ever been to a Comic-Con?
I have never been to a Comic-Con, and I'm pretty sure I
Okay.
would love it.
So going to a Comic-Con, go to a Comic-Con and think about, well, you're not going to be going to a Comic-Con anytime soon, but go to a Comic-Con and think about this conversation. You got to do, even though I'm doing what I enjoy, you got to do what people want, you know? So even though, like, I'll sit and I'll do,
Put Steven America on a freaking card, dude.
so I'll do BB-8 and BB-9 dressed as R2-D2 and Darth Vader fighting.
Okay.
You know,
I don't
that
like
was
the new
fun.
Star Wars, so don't. I have a buddy that owns a Star Wars podcast. If you want to be on it, I'll message him.
Are you a brony then?
Oh, I have a funny story about this. Okay, so there's this kid. He's a very good kid. His name's Spencer. Shout out to him. But he's a little bit kind of weird. And when I mean weird is like he wore a Daniel Boone like raccoon hat and would run through school. And I mean, he's a nice kid. I liked him. But what I thought was really funny was he was a brony. He was one of these, loved My Little Pony. And we had driving school together. So whatever, we had a vending machine in the class, and what happened was he would get up and he would stand right over your fucking shoulder and watch you make a decision and like pick your thing. And then he would go, nice choice. And then he would walk away like backwards while he stared at you the whole time and then sit back in his seat without fucking looking where he's walking. He could step on anything. He just would sit right back on his seat. And whenever someone would get up and use the vending machine, if he was all the way across the class, he would charge at it. And
Hey, hold on. You had a vending machine in your classroom?
it was for driving school. It wasn't an actual like class taught in school.
Okay.
We had to
I was
go
gonna
to
say, hold up.
no.
I would never get my kids to be able to pay attention. They'd be trying to scrounge money from the person next to them to get something to eat.
Can you imagine that? Instead of the pencil sharpener, you got a kid trying to get Funyuns out of the
Oh
machine.
my God. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm like, wait a second.
Well, my boss's brother was in my class, and his name is Bailey, and he would sit there, and Spencer asked me, he goes, "Are you a fan of My Little Pony?" And I'm like, "I'm not, but you know who hates My Little Pony?" And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Bailey." And I pointed to Bailey, and Bailey's in the back seat like, "What?" And then he turns around, gives him the death stare, and then turns back around and looks at me and goes, "Thank you for warning me." And I just told him, like, dude, you're probably going to get murdered after this class is over. But, like, it shit was like, that's what, like, whenever I see My Little Pony or something like that, like, that's what I love those. That, like, you can find enjoyment. I'll admit, I watched Powder Puff Girls when I was a kid, dude. I enjoyed that shit. I love the little bubble washers, little drinks you get with the superheroes on it. Like, everybody's got their own cartoon and stuff to it. And what's weird is, compared to when you were a kid, the superheroes, all those things that everyone would be afraid to talk about because of the fact it wasn't popular, is now super, super trending. So I'm wondering what's going to be the next future thing here.
I don't know, man. And it's tough to know. And that's the problem with, I mean, now that we're stuck with the whole COVID nonsense, but you're not having cons, that was the game you played, So my buddy and I used to, the first actual con I told you about, I met this artist that I had been following on Instagram. His name's Playful Gorilla. So I had met him at this con, and I was nerding out because I loved his artwork. And he was such a cool dude. He was very receptive. So we ended up trading artwork back and forth. So I traded some of my stuff to him. He actually still owns one of my original pigs. And I tell him, like, don't you ever hang that up. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it on the internet, nothing. But we ended up finding out that we lived like 5 minutes from each other. And from that point on, we're like boys now. Like, you're talking 6 years ago, 7 years ago. He taught me pretty much everything I need, everything I know now for digital. I was always just pencil and paper and color it in. He taught me how to do the whole digital game.
Is it easier doing into digital? Because it seems like it looks a hell of a lot harder.
It's getting it down to a science, man. Once you get it down to a science, like I could do so here, and here's another cartoon that I got to tell you about. You ever watch Loud House?
Nope.
Dude, watch it later. Hysterical. Lincoln has 11 sisters, 10 sisters,
Jesus.
something, and he knows how to manage each one of them. So it's fantastic. Go watch it. But so
like hacking your sibling?
yeah, so like there's Lincoln dressed as Thanos. So I was like, oh, he can take care of his sisters in a snap. And everybody laughs at that. But this is a fantastic cartoon that they're making new ones of. I think it's on Nickelodeon. And my kids love it. So back to what we would watch. We love watching Loud House together too. Sorry.
It's all good. What I want to ask though is, have you ever thought about doing the sketches of people? Like,
No.
you never do those. You only stick to cartoons and stuff.
I suck at drawing humans. People have asked me so many times to draw them or do caricatures. I'm the worst. Like I had somebody hit me up. They wanted a commission for Phoenix. They wanted a Phoenix commission. Okay, cool. I'll sit down and draw it. Dude, I had to draw it 3 times. The first time I drew it, the cheekbones were too high and it looked like it looked all mangled. Second time I drew it, looked like she had a thick throat and an Adam's apple. Like I can't do facial features. Can't do them.
I can't do the hands. When I get to the hands, I look like bananas that are like smushed in.
That's why you covered them. That's why you cover them with shields or stuff like that.
Why does Captain America have Parkinson's? I don't know.
Oh God. There's a distillery outside of Philadelphia called 1675. They do whiskey and vodka, and they're cool dudes and all that. So their year anniversary was coming up, and I'd met them a bunch of times, and I've set up there. They let me set up there and sell my stuff. So I took a picture of theirs. They're actually the 2 first people I did digitally as humans, and I did them digitally. It took me 3 months. Because I just stop and I'm like, nope, that don't look right. Delete and wipe it away. So it was all done digitally off of a photograph. But yeah, I don't do humans. That's why I love cartoons, and I stick with my cartoons.
Okay. I want to put a request in.
Oh boy.
But I want your help with this.
Okay.
My favorite cartoon ever, Courage the Cowardly Dog. How would you do it? And like, what would you combine it with?
Can I tell you that I actually met the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog and sat with him?
Did you?
And we traded artwork.
What?
Yo, the guy was awesome. Guy was fantastic. I met him at a con, and again, I went up, because he did a bunch of voiceovers. I done a bunch of voices, and did we go out and have a beer? No, we were supposed to. We were in AC. We were supposed to, but something ended up happening. We couldn't meet them. But yeah, dude. Like I said, if you go to these cons, man, you meet all these people that you've always been a part of. Like all the older people are going out and doing cons now because they're realizing that the nostalgia is coming back because of all these streaming sites coming up and putting their stuff on.
No, it's because it was ripped away from a lot of people. A lot of people had to grow up quickly. A lot of people had to all these cartoons, all these things were taken out of their life, or they ended up going out and doing bikes or something, and then you want to fall back to it. But I used to have a shit ton of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I used to have a lot of Bakugan and all these things, these little toys. I ended up like a couple of years ago recollecting everything. I found out that, I've got all these paychecks I'm saving up. I'm like, I might as well start buying some dumb shit. So besides putting $4.99, wow. Well, I'm just saying, I was like, I'm doing okay.
At 22 years old, that thought is great. But imagine being a 30-year-old going, I'm going to buy a Deadpool statue.
Okay, look, this is when I was, first of all, don't knock that Deadpool statue. I would invest in that for you. My buddies. Look,
you don't even want to see my collection, dude. I'm telling you, it's stupid, man.
I've seen the craziest one. My buddy's dad has he has a computer in this one room. It's just nothing, just this computer. But everything around it is all Iron Man statues. He has over 650 Iron Man statues, all different versions of Iron Man. Like there's this suit from this comic series, this suit from this comic series. Dude, he's got over like $50,000 worth of Iron Man statues in his room. And I would walk in and there's so much where the room is probably like the size, like a decent sized room. You can fit a sofa in there and stuff, but you can't literally walk in there and do anything because there's just statues everywhere. And in their garage above the top where people keep like a lot of clutter and stuff, it's all the Iron Man boxes. I'm like, dude, your dad must be a huge fan of Iron Man. He's got the one version with Tony Stark's helmet where it's just the face mask off, but he's still got the headpiece on. And then he's got one where it's just the headpiece off and the face mask still on. And it's all different versions of that, like slight little bits of differences in the statues. I'm like, wow. Like, but that's what you got to do sometimes, man. Like when I was just spending paycheck after paycheck, like, oh, I'm going to buy my whole Yu-Gi-Oh collection. I got a whole fucking suitcase downstairs that you would put luggage in of just individual decks of different types. Because when I was a kid, I grew up too quickly where I ended up, we moved a lot. So we sold all my shit at a yard sale for like $5. So some person got lucky. So now I go to thrift stores and I'm like, Yu-Gi-Oh cards? And they're like, yeah, what? Like, just give me a nickel for all those. I'm like, you understand this is a Blue Eyes White Dragon? Like, that is more than a nickel.
So I'm Pokemon in that fact. So I grew up with Pokemon, playing it on the Game Boy and the cards and all that stuff and watching it. So actually a lot of my artwork is Pokemon mashups. I just recently did Mimikyu Pikachu dressed as Mimikyu. But I love doing Pokemon mashups. Like I'm a huge fan of them. I actually have a Blastoise inside a Hulkbuster suit, as well as, and then I recolored. It's an enamel pin, and then I recolored it and did a War Machine. He was inside the War Machine suit. Or I have a Deadpool Pikachu. I don't know if I got a pin. Yeah, so I have pins of all this stuff, but it comes from my head and people, and like my buddy at Playful Girl I was telling you about, he'll sit there and we would talk about different things I wanted to mash up, and he goes, it's not going to work. Don't do it. It's not going to work. And then I still sit there and do it because I don't listen. I still don't listen at 38 years old. And he goes, wow, it really worked. And that ends up being one of my top sellers because people, right now I did all the Teen Titans Go dressed up in Fortnite costumes. Just for, I never played Fortnite. I played Fortnite once, hated every minute of it. But I love Teen Titans Go, and I knew, like we were talking about what's next. I know Fortnite is going to continue, but even though it's dying off now and Apex is taking over, I got a couple kids in my classroom, and then a couple adults I know played it, and I hit them up and asked them what are the most popular skins in it, and that's what I did the Teen Titans in, and kids love them.
Okay, change to the request now instead of doing.
Oh my God.
Well, I would love it if you did Courage, but I feel like this one's going to get you more into actually doing it. And I think it's one of my favorite Pokemon, Mudkip or Swampert or Blaziken.
Okay.
Dressed up like the Karate Kid.
Yeah, I mean, bandana,
make him the Human Torch. Make him a Human Torch. I don't care.
Dude, Blaziken as a Human Torch?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I gave you an idea.
Oh my God.
Run with it. Run with it. That's what I always thought of him like, was because he had that fire move or whatever.
It's funny you're saying that. So I actually, what's this, a 14 by 20, I think, canvas? I don't know if you can see. But on here, I have Magneton drawn. I don't know if I can get up close on there.
I see a little bit of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I drew 3 of them. So my buddy that does all my tattoos, he's Ray Petty. He's like Cosmic Primate Tattoo, zombie primate. He does a lot of biomech. We're actually working on a biomech octopus on my thigh right now. So I told him, I said, I want to give you a Pokemon, but I want you to biomech it up. So he's going to take the Magneton that I drew. It's nice and big on there, and he's going to put get it all mangled up with biomech and stuff like that. Really go nuts with it. So again, just something, like stupid stuff. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, it's here. You know what? I got one for you.
You gotta be creative in times. I hate Dexter.
But do you know what he's mashed up with?
I'm gonna guess Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Which is my favorite movie, but I hate Dexter so much.
Yes.
I'm conflicted. I'm loving it and I'm hating it at the same time.
There's Nidoking as Doomsday with
Cyborg. That's awesome.
Superman. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's all I do, and it's fun. It's fun for me to just enjoy myself.
Yeah, because if you don't enjoy it, then it becomes work, and that's not fun. And that's Robin dressed up as. I can't tell what that is. Oh, Thundercat.
Lino.
Lino.
So they actually did an episode where they were dressed up as the Thundercats as well. So I just sat down. Yo, I'm telling you, man,
Yo,
you're missing the ball. You're dropping the ball.
Machamp dressed as He-Man.
I did a Machamp dressed as the Hulk.
Why would you do that when you have perfectly good He-Man?
Why would you not? Well, I mean, you're talking about doing something. There you go. There's another Pokemon for you.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Pansaur.
Yeah. There's Oshawott as Superman.
Do you like how there's one called Wishy-Washy where it's like, are you guys even trying anymore?
No, they're not.
They're like,
and I love every minute of it.
It's like Sharknado where like two people are just sitting in a room. What's two things that scare the crap out of you? One person's like shark, another person's like tornadoes. All right, put it together. We're going to make a movie.
Done, Sharknado. We're in, dude.
Dude, yeah, but I mean, seriously, you got some great talent, man. I first of all, I appreciate you for coming out and doing the podcast, man. But like, you got to do trading cards, man. Just make a couple sketches and then print it out on some cards, dude. Just copy and print. Make a collection. I will buy it.
That game's not around though. That's what I was getting to earlier when we were talking about that game. Thinking of terms of like right now, enamel pins are huge, like huge. And I'll show you.
It's all about collecting. I have a binder of Pokemon cards. You don't need to play the game anymore. You need to collect them.
No, but I'm talking about trading cards. Like,
whoa.
This is one of 5 canvases on my wall right now of pins. Pins are that's the Steven Universe, the Steven America right there.
Okay. Do you remember the show El Luchadors with the little masked wrestlers that all had different powers? There's Flea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I want Flea as Oscar the Grouch.
Wait, what happened to Blaziken as Human Torch?
I got these ideas.
You're throwing me stuff like curveballs here, bro.
Blaziken as the Human Torch. I like that one. I'm sticking with it. But I still want to see Oscar the Grouch smoking crack or something.
I'm not going to do that, man. I'm a teacher. Come on. That's why it's called Dad's Cartoons. I am a wholesome person.
Okay. I always love the joke.
Dude, people ask me about doing horror stuff. I've done one scary thing. And I have to make sure that it's not on my wall because I do a huge print wall behind my table. I did Pikachu as the Exorcist.
Why would you do that?
So the splits and the face and the blood and the pee. And it's gnarly looking, dude. And people are like, I have to make sure it's not hanging up when I do. Like I did a show called Kids Comic-Con. And I had to make sure it was nowhere to be seen. Like,
yeah, you're gonna
nowhere to be
seen for life.
Yeah, 100%, dude. But it's fun though, man. Like, so right now, I'm actually doing a video game mural at this brewery outside of Philly. Awesome brewery, fantastic. It's called Odd Logic. If you ever get anybody up in Philly to get you beer, definitely grab some Odd Logics. If somebody's up here and can send it to you or drive it down to you, or if you're ever up in the area.
Ship me I'm doing with my Blaziken poster.
I'm doing, yeah, that'll work. That I think that's allowed.
Why is this guy just getting a beer?
As the mailman, all of a sudden you hear a bottle fall out of the back of his truck.
Don't fuck with me with the UPS guy, because let me tell you something. I've been ordering sauce, and I've been getting sauce from a couple of my sponsors that they're sending me. Past 4 packages look like they've been drop kicked. I'm like, I'm raising hell with this USPS guy. They're like, you can file a complaint. I'm like, I want to speak to whoever's delivering the mail, and I want them to freaking know my pain. I'm gonna beat them on the ground.
But it's fun. So right now I'm doing this mural on their whole wall. So they have an NES and a Super NES plugged into flat screens on the wall because it's very family friendly. You bring your kids there. There's board games on each table, and you can sit there where they can play video games. So I'm doing this huge mural. I have Mario holding Zelda's shield, holding Link's shield, jumping and hitting a box, and an Odd Logic beer's coming out, and then there's here's a game from back in the day which you probably didn't play called Bubble Bobble. No, look at your face.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, dude. Wow. So Bubble Bobble sitting on top of a Mega Man energy bottle. There's a Pikachu. So I'm drawing this mural Like I'm privileged to be drawn because I love the beer at this place and I love being there. So that's a huge job that I'm taking on right now. So I haven't even actually taken on any commissions because I'm trying to get over there and do this painting done while my kids got baseball, while I got things I got to get done, and we're running errands here and we're going, going there. So it's just like, it's crazy, dude. Like without having cons and not going and traveling and doing shows, I'm finding so much other stuff that needs to get done. And I'm tied up. You know what I mean?
Machop dressed as Raikou from Street Fighter
Eh,
with the white vest,
eh,
the muscles flaring. You gotta turn them,
eh.
have them flexing.
No, dude, I'm telling you, you have gold with Blaziken as Human Torch. That is
All
gold.
right, fine.
Why is that gold? So I'll tell you here right now, and this is what I teach. And when I did a couple art classes, I look for characteristics of each character before I mash them up. So you said Blaziken and you said Human Torch. Well, they're both involved with fire, so it works well.
Okay.
I did. Where is he?
What's wrong with Ryu and Machop? They're both fighting. What is it?
Yeah, it's not that. I don't want to do another Machop.
Okay, Courage and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So it's just going to look like Courage in a bathrobe.
Yes.
This is
Wisdom.
I'm going to turn around and be
Wisdom.
like, so that's Courage, and he's dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi. No, he's not. He's in a bad. You got to be able to. It's got to be like a discerning characteristic to say. Like with Karate Kid,
Okay.
I could do it with the bandana.
Courage the Cowardly Dog and RoboCop.
You're not going to barely see Courage.
You get to know it's him by the teeth. You can't mistake
Yeah, but
those teeth.
so here you go. I'll play devil's advocate for you. I did a Gumball dressed as Black Panther.
Wow, that's really good.
So unless you know what Gumball looks like, you can't tell who's underneath the Black Panther mask because it's under the mask. And Black Panther's mask is what tells you it's Black Panther, other than the teeth around his neck.
Wow.
So I had somebody come back and think it was Quagmire. He's like, "Is that Quagmire?" And I'm like, "No, it's not Quagmire. But again, if you look at Quagmire and you look at that face of Gumball with the cheek and the way I have him drawn, so
yeah.
you have to. That's the problem. That's why my mind is so ridiculously stupid. Is these things pop into my head, and I'm like, I could do that. I can do it this way and I can do it that way. And people are like, no, it's not going to work. I'm like, watch, hold on, let me put it on paper. And I'll sit down and draw it. Like, oh yeah, it's awesome. It works. You know, it's weird, dude, but you got to make sure. Like, Blaziken is perfect because he's such a well-known evolution, but he's also very strong. And with the Human Torch aspect, you can still see Blaziken's face and body, so you'll know those lanky arms and legs. Whereas if I took, I'm gonna have to take this off to show you.
Roger Rabbit is Batman.
So see the Pikachu Deadpool?
Yes.
You know that's Pikachu, right?
Yeah.
That is Pikachu in there. If you tried to put, it's hard to get the idea of who's behind a costume. So you got to make sure that they look like they're
Bugs Bunny and Samurai Jack.
That's not a bad one. Never watched Samurai Jack, but that's not a bad one.
I didn't like Samurai Jack, but I'm telling you, that's a good idea.
It doesn't work, though. You have to like it for it to be drawn.
Marvin the Martian.
I did him as Deadpool.
Okay, that's a good one. I can't pick anything better than that.
See, I try not to overdo things too. Like, I have 4 Pikachus.
I tossed you out gold here.
You did, and I got to see if I sit down and I got to sit and draw it. Maybe I'll go live one night on Instagram and draw it up for you.
Like, this is what this one kid created, and
along with 15 other ideas.
50 million. I'm swing and a miss. I'm like Babe Ruth. I'm swinging for the fences. I'm swinging for the fences, dude. Spyro.
Look, he's still going.
Hold on. Spyro dressed as Captain Crunch.
What? Why?
Why not?
Why?
You have the ability. Don't do this.
So I've already drawn a Spyro. But no, Spyro doesn't. No.
You're like Morgan Freeman. You're gifted with this amazing voice, but you don't want to talk. It's like, what are you doing to the people?
You know there's a new Spyro coming out.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
I bought the Reignited trilogy. I bought the Reignited trilogy, and I remember playing it as a kid and getting so upset I would have to cry and take a nap, and I would never get past the first level. When I bought the Reignited trilogy, I beat the first level in 5 minutes. I literally had to have someone talk me through of how I was not mentally challenged as a kid. Like, I was so shocked. I was like, was I a fucking idiot? And like, they're like, no, you got older, you got smarter. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, you're right. You're right. I went upstairs, played the second level, beat it in 5 minutes. I'm like, no, you're lying to me. There's no way. This was impossible when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's rumored to be on the PlayStation 5. There's gonna be there's another Ratchet and Clank too.
I was never a
Love
fan of that
Ratchet,
series.
love Ratchet and
I
Clank.
was an Xbox guy.
I think there's another Crash Band. Oh, you're an Xbox guy? That's a shame. Sorry to hear that. They're not coming out with anything. They're not coming out with any
Assassin's
stuff.
Creed Valhalla, bro, is all I care about.
That's coming out on PlayStation. I mean their own games. Nice.
I got this from a thrift store. I told you I
Yo,
collect my childhood memories. This thing is
how
really
about
sharp. I could kill somebody with it.
how about I have the Deadpool version of Assassin's Creed the movie?
I have
So
never seen the movie, but
what? You talk about loving Assassin's Creed. That movie
I
is
love the games.
awesome.
But I bought I pre-ordered the Ezio collection and I got a free movie ticket. I just never went.
Dude, go watch it
People said
somewhere.
it was
Find it.
terrible, but also people crap on the Green Lantern, so I might actually like it.
So they came out. So when Deadpool 2 came out, no, Deadpool 1, one of them, the movies, they went through and made popular covers of movies with Deadpool on them. So there was an the Assassin's Creed movie with Deadpool's face dressed as Ezio. Not Ezio.
Dude.
Who was the name of I forget the name of the character in the
Altair?
movie, but yeah. So he's dressed up like him on his face is under the hood and in his suit, dude. It's fantastic. Nobody's ever seen it. They didn't make a lot of them, so I kept it in the wrapping and all that. Like, it's a fantastic cover.
All right. I want Diggum from Honey Smacks dressed as Raiden.
Dig 'em.
The green frog?
Dressed as Raiden,
Raiden.
but Raiden's face is pretty much covered up by his hat.
Diggum wears a hat. He's a
But how you gonna
frog.
know? Yeah, but you still see his face.
There's one popular frog. Everybody
No,
would
there's
know.
not.
Give him a
Kermit.
shirt. Kermit. Fuck Kermit. Diggum, I got salmonella off Honey Smacks. I will live and die by that
How
cereal.
did you get salmonella off the Honey Smacks?
I turned it into a joke, but a long time ago, about like last year maybe, the iceberg lettuce that had salmonella, there was a recall on it. Well, at the
Yes.
same time, there was a recall on Honey Smacks. I'm very frugal with my money, so $5 is what Honey Smacks usually goes for a box. So I was like, I'm doing good in my life. I'm doing okay with work. I'm going to spend $5 on this box of cereal. I bought this box of cereal. I ate a bowl of it. I got insanely sick that night. I went back to Walmart the next day. The guy said, oh yeah, there's a shortage of salmonella poisoning in all the iceberg lettuce. I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. I came in here to get a Powerade. I got so sick last night. He goes, did you buy lettuce? I was like, I did, but I haven't eaten it. I had Honey Smacks last night. Oh, there's a recall on that too. Salmonella outbreak. You know what? I ate the rest of that fucking box of cereal. He told me throw it out, probably has salmonella. I said, look, you live and you die by the smacks. That's how it goes. I emailed the Kellogg's people that. They denied coming on my podcast and sponsoring it. So my buddy, a fan of this podcast, had listened, and he sent them multiple emails until they sent me a bunch of free coupons for a Kellogg cereal that I can't fucking scan anywhere because they're like, what we don't know anything about a free box of cereal. Like, this is just fake. This is just decoration for your room. I'm like, thank you, Kellogg's, for really sticking it into my face.
I never heard anything about salmonella because
Google
salmonella
it.
it's dry cereal. How did it live?
You wait. You know what?
I'm not second guessing you. I'm questioning in my own mind.
It's the same thing with Franken. Oh my God, bro! Squirtle as Count Chocula.
Why would you not go Squirtle as Frankenberry? Because of the blue
That's Boo Berry.
or Boo Berry, I mean.
You don't even know what cereal you talk about.
Oh my God,
What
I
about?
wasn't here. I wasn't allowed to eat that stuff when I was a kid, dude.
What?
We
You
had
didn't have a
we
childhood? You didn't have a childhood?
No, we did have a childhood, but my mom wouldn't go out and get that sugary stuff. We would have, if we wanted a sugar cereal, we had to get a plain cereal, and we only were allowed to do half and half. So we were never allowed to have the Count Choculates and all that stuff. I didn't get to eat that until I was older in college, bro.
What kind of
Yes,
god do you worship?
exactly,
Oh yeah, here we go.
exactly.
Federal health officials are warning consumers to stay away from all Honey Smack cereal, which is likely behind a multi-state salmonella outbreak that has sickened 130 people. 131. I did not take a
130.
census. Kellogg's voluntarily recalled Honey Smacks in June, citing possible salmonella contamination on September 5th, 2018. And that was actually that was 2 years ago when I experienced death, and it's at least 36 different states, one being Maryland. So I bought that box, and my mom's like, "Why are you eating the rest of it if it's making you sick?" I'm like, "Cause it's $5." I stick by my choices, man. You know, I confirm. I might have a lot of ideas of mashups you can do, but I stick by my choices. Oh, dude.
Oh my God,
Okay.
I'm gonna be getting messages for days.
We'll
dude.
end it on this one. All right, no, hold on. I got two more now. Hang on a second. Hang on, I got two more. One, I want Mr. Mime as Orville Redenbacher from the Kettle Corn. Yes.
Orville Redenbacher, the only way you know him is because he has glasses, dude. He's not gonna look. It's not gonna work. You got to think of the characteristics, the traits of these people.
Okay, Abra as a Power Ranger, but not any Power Ranger, Yellow Ranger.
But how are you going to know it's Abra underneath the Power Ranger helmet?
If you're a kid and you grew up playing Pokemon, you just know. No. What do you mean? That's like you're going to know who Abra is. Alakazam, he's got fucking spoons in his hand. He could be a serial character. Mash him up with Dig'em. I want Alakazam as Dig'em.
Yo, your mind does not stop, bro.
Alakazam as Dig'em. Well, I'm looking at a wall of Funko Pops, and my mind's just going.
Dig'em. Oh my God.
You know it would work. They both carry spoons as mascots.
Yeah, but
what? Life's not about butts. Life's about imperfections, and that's the beauty in it. And that's from the eel from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So Dig'em, I mean, yeah, I guess so, because that's yeah, I guess so.
And the wheels keep on turning.
Yeah, because that's an actual like costume. So he has the yellow shirt, and the green jacket. I'm going. Yo, I'm sticking with the Blaziken Human Torch, man. That's fire, literally and figuratively.
Damn, the Diggle one is probably my all-time favorite.
Hit me up. We'll talk. Maybe we'll do both of them.
Can I get Professor Farnsworth in Fallout gear?
Who?
Professor Farnsworth.
Who's that?
Tragic news, everyone. Futurama?
Don't watch it. Never watch it.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
I would think you would love that show.
Never watched it. Never, not even an episode.
Not even one?
Nope. Saw the commercials, didn't do anything for me.
Okay. I do like the Blaziken one as Human Torch. I do want Alakazam as Dig'em. That would be fucking amazing. Or Dig'em as Alakazam. We don't know. What about... trying to think, because this is a really good opportunity for me.
I want to know what you're looking at right now.
I'm looking at my wall of Funko Pops. I want the Xenomorph as Mr. Rogers.
How do you know it's Mr. Rogers?
The cardigan.
Seriously? A cardigan?
Look.
Nobody's
that nice to their fucking neighbor.
Yo, you gotta give something that's, like I said, it's gotta be discernible that's that and that's that. So here, I'll give you a quick little story. One of my first traveling Comic-Cons up in North Jersey, right? So I did Mickey Mouse's Venom, right? scared the piss out of my oldest son when I was drawing it because he's got the big teeth. But now he's a huge Venom fan at 9 years old, loves Venom, wants a Venom face shield for when he goes back to school since schools are going back around here. I'm set up at this Comic-Con in this hotel. This girl comes up to me and she goes, "How dare you?" I said, I'm sorry. How dare I what? And she goes, "That's Mickey Mouse." I said, "Is it?" I said, "Have you ever seen Mickey Mouse with big teeth like that and a long tongue that's like drooling and those eyes?" And she goes, "Well, it's Venom." I said, "It is?" I said, "Have you ever seen Venom with 2 ears and a big little belly and fat shoes?" I'm like, "Listen, I walk a gray line because I take 2 different characters and combine them into one. It's parody. Like, there's different things, but don't come up to somebody and disrespect them about their artwork. Like, that's what I do." So it's difficult to see how you take 2 things, but you got to make sure that you see both of those things, because if not, people aren't going to understand it. They're going to look at it and go, why would I want that hanging in my room? But if it's you commissioning something, like doing Dig'em as Alakazam, that's what you want, I'm going to do it. That's how I work. So if that's what you want, I'll do it. A Blaziken as Human Torch, that could go on my print wall to sell to people, because they would know the Human Torch and they would know Blaziken, because I put the 4 on fire in his chest and everything. So it's got to be, if it's a commission, you can pick whatever you want.
But I want you to have fun doing it.
If you still come back to me and say I want a Xenomorph with a Mr. Rogers cardigan,
that's a fucking good one.
I'm gonna say that doesn't. If you want it, that's great, but it's not going to turn out the way you want it to turn out, because you're not going to be able to tell it's Mr. Rogers. And then somebody's going to come in your house and be like, "Why do you have a Xenomorph wearing a sweater? Is he cold?"
Because I'm tired of following the damn rules. I want life to be fun again.
But yeah, that's how my mind works, man. It's just it's getting ideas together and then seeing how I can make them mesh together properly so that it looks good. It's recognizable as either person. I mean, I did Olaf as Captain America too.
Okay. Not a fan of that one compared to Alakazam and Honey Smacks. That's gold, dude. I would want that tattooed on my skin.
Oh my God. I'm Alakazam dressed as Dig'em, like throwing up because he got salmonella.
It was, dude. I mean, in any logical decision, I wouldn't advise anybody to do what I did, but I'm a man of my convictions, and that's one thing I hold true to myself.
That's a shame.
Well, Mickey, I think I've wasted enough of your time. But before we go, I would like to mention one more. Could we do Groot as Leonidas from 300?
It would just be Groot as a Roman warrior.
Exactly. What's the issue?
I was going to do Groot holding Sunkern. Sunkern growing out of his hand.
Yeah.
And that was that's on my idea list. Wow. Having Groot drawn like a baby Groot with a little Sunkern in his hand, coming up.
Can we do the Manta Ray Pokemon? I forgot what its name is. Mantike mixed with Aquaman. So somebody riding on Aquaman, or you could do Mantike with the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, you want to. I mean, if you're going to do Aquaman, you're going to do Mantike standing up horizontally, because you're going to see the belt. The belt. The big thing with Aquaman is his belt.
Dude, how are we missing this right now? Mantike and freaking Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Oh my God!
They're riding Mantike.
Oh my God! I drew them. I actually drew Merman as Captain America for a customer.
What's with you and Captain America?
He's a wholesome, fantastic character that teaches kids.
It's played by the Human Torch.
Strength. What?
It's played by the Human Torch. They can't trick me. Every time I look at him, I'm like, just flame on already. Just flame on, gosh. Johnny Blade. Dude, Ghost Rider and Mr. Rogers.
How about I did a Jack Skellington as Ghost Rider?
That is actually really good.
See? That's what I'm saying. You got to make sure that it's
But you're just
discernible
comparing
between both of them.
skeletons and skeleton.
That's the point. Like I did with Grimm and Skeletor.
That's not creative. That's
How
just
not?
pairing like things together.
And people love it.
Wow.
That's the thing. People love it.
Could I do Gary the Snail? I'm not even gonna say it because you're gonna laugh.
I know. Now I want to hear it. You can't do that. You can't start and then stop. No, I got to hear it now. Gary the Snail is who?
Thomas the Tank Engine.
What?
So you know how awesome that would be? He's on a tracks and he's got the slime going on the tracks. Come on, think it
They
through.
wouldn't make him Thomas the Tank Engine. If you were gonna do Thomas the Tank Engine, do Thomas's big face and then Gary like crawling over his eye so he like couldn't see or something. But that's the thing, like then it's just a snail on a train track.
Exactly.
It doesn't make it Thomas.
Man, you just love poking holes in my ideas.
I'm not poking holes.
You're supposed to be a teacher. You're supposed to offer me guidance and acceptance to my ideas.
If
You're supposed to pet me on the head and tell me I'm a good boy.
If you want me to draw up all of those, that's fantastic. They may not look like anything like you want them to look because the ideas are kind of hard for me to say that that's Mr. Rogers on a xenomorph. It looks like he just had a chilly day, like it's a little fall day, and he put on a little cardigan, and he's good to go. But
you're killing me.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever seen? I got it. Torkel. You know who Torkel is?
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Not bad.
There we go. We got turtles. We're working. We're making
Wait,
you're writing it down. You're writing it down.
No, I'm looking up Torkel.
He's a fire turtle. He's a geyser-looking Pokemon. We could do Doduo mixed with Steve Irwin.
Yeah, he could work as a turtle. Put a bandana on him.
Call him Raphael because he goes with the red. See, I'm learning, and this is why you're a teacher. Look where we're going from here. But everybody that's listening, spam him messages of Alakazam and Honey Smacks because that's the only thing I want in this world that can die happy.
Dude, if you want to draw it, I'll draw it up. I have no problem. But I'm definitely doing Blaziken as
I'm glad. Can I get like maybe a little tiny like?
So what I'll do is we'll work out pricing for this Honey Smacks, the Dig'em, and the Alakazam, and then when I finish the Blaziken, I'll send you a free print with it.
Oh, dude, I'll put it on my site and say, look at this, and then I'll tune into this episode so people can hear it, be creative, and hear all. Oh,
it's not going to get done that quick. Hold on, it's not going to get done that quick. Okay, but yeah, I don't know how long it takes you to produce these, to put these out.
It goes up in about a week, but still, I'll just link it to the site once you make it. You know, I had I'll give a shout out to him right now, Adam Coyle, very good comic book artist. He made a commission for me. It's Papa John's, and I always say Papa John's is a cult, so he did a human head on a pizza with Papa John's holding it. If you look at Papa John's, that man is something wrong with him, and I hope he hears this, and I hope he knows that we're not here for him. We never will be. We don't want to listen to any of his problems. I don't like that guy. I see pure evil. I see pure evil in Mr. Rogers too. Nobody's that nice to their fucking neighbor, Mickey. Nobody. No, you're not.
I am.
You have moments where you're like, I want to smear dog shit all over your car door handle.
I would never. Again, that's why I like Captain America. I'm a wholesome kind of guy, buddy.
Human Torch, you mean?
No, you said No, God. I'm like, why do you bring up Human Torch again?
All right, Mickey, please plug everything. Your Instagram page where people can find your artwork, man.
Dad's Cartoons across the board. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can go to my store. My store is linked to all of them, but it's dadscartoons.storenv.com. I make shirts, I make posters, I make pins, I make buttons, I make stickers, prints, frame stuff, originals, all kinds of goodies. And with the con season being canceled because of COVID, my stuff is just, my inventory is just sitting, waiting. So I'm just hanging out and swimming in the pool and grilling.
Krogunk as Scarface.
Say hello. Yeah, that's the only way it would have to be. He'd have to be holding something, shooting, and say hello to my little friend and little bubble.
But the best part is Krogunk has flippers for hands. They're just square little brick things.
Yeah.
So that means he can't hold an Uzi. So you could have him trying to hold a cigarette, like with it like this, where he's trying to hold it up into his mouth. Come on. I'm fucking giving you gold.
I don't know. I told you how it would work, and you're like, oh, he's got flippers, so he's not going to be able to hold it.
Crawdaunt, you know, the evolved form of Corfish, and
Yeah.
Larry the Lobster.
Larry the Lobster. Why don't I know that? Why am I drawing a blank
SpongeBob.
on Larry the Lobster? Oh, okay.
Living like Larry.
All right, I'm ending it. Don't worry.